Star player leaving Nuggets? Report reveals major update. We may have a point guard problem in Denver, but do we have time to fix it? Let's get into all that and more today on Nuggets Digest. What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Stuart Hicar, basketball enthusiast, Colorado native, and also just the most trustworthy man in all of amateur sports entertainment, and that's a fact. But also a fact, and this one's a bit concerning, did you know that only about 10% of our viewers are actually subscribed to the channel? Which means that almost 90% of you out there are missing out on some of the best gosh darn basketball analysis this side of the Continental Divide. So if you like what we do here at Nuggets Digest and you want to stay up to date with your favorite Mile High team, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, join the community. We'd love to have you. Alrighty, well, now that that is out of the way, what are we talking about today? It's our one position, our point guard, our floor general. Obviously, for our starting five, Jamal Murray is locked in. We've got that mega contract, and we're hoping to see a little bit more consistency from him in this coming year. But what we're really talking about is our backup point guard position, which last year we had Russell Westbrook coming off the bench, starting some games. It was really an exciting an exciting season. But as of right now, it seems like Russell Westbrook is not going to be coming back. That's just the way it is. He did not sign his player option unless the Nuggets were to offer him a larger deal, which I just don't think is worth it. It seems like he is out of here. This headline here calls mount for Russell Westbrook to join former team after blockbuster news. That news, of course, being he's not going to re-sign with the Nuggets. That is all but fully confirmed that he's going somewhere else. But where is he going? Well, that is a bit of an open question as of right now. If you've seen around the league, there's a couple of stars around this age who are returning to old teams to end their careers. Plenty of guys do this. They sign one-year contracts with the teams that really brought them up, where they got their stardom, so that they can retire as that specific team. For Chris Paul, that's the big one right now. He's just rejoined the Clippers. He will very likely retire a Clipper. And now it seems as though Russell Westbrook is hearing some energy to maybe go ahead and retire as an Oklahoma City Thunder player, of course, where he was drafted, won his MVP as well. The city loves him. Most of the NBA loves Russ, so I could definitely see him getting that invite back to that team. I guess the question really is like, is it going to help them at all? I don't know. I don't think they need Westbrook right now, but again, this is not a Thunder podcast. This is not a Thunder show, so good luck to the Thunder if they end up picking up Russ. He had a great season for us last year. It's the classic story of joining a team with a player like Jokić, one of those guys who can put the ball anywhere it needs to be, one of those guys who raises the floor and ceiling of every other player on the floor. You know, Russ came in 1 year on a veteran minimum, and he is going to be leaving and probably getting a nice little deal from the Thunder at the end of this. You got to remember, the Thunder are one of those teams that's constructed in a way that makes you look at them and you're like, shouldn't they be way over the salary cap? And you realize most of these guys are really young and really aren't that expensive as of right now. In the next 2 years or so, they're going to have to deal with this massive salary change and everything. But for now, it looks like they'll probably bring on Westbrook. He'll retire a Thunder player. Good for him. But of course, that is going to leave a big open opportunity for Denver, because we kind of need a backup point guard right now. And unfortunately, Jalen Pickett has not really established himself as of yet. He hasn't had a ton of minutes to actually play. So it is one of those questions of like, if we gave this guy the opportunity, do you think he could step up to the role? I personally believe so. I like Jalen Pickett. Every time I see him play, he's always got a confidence to him that I'm always like, that's surprising for like a third string point guard. I really like seeing him play, and I think he had a few moments of shine. If you were watching a lot of, garbage minutes last season, he would sometimes come out, and you just see a guy who looks really comfortable on the floor. So my vote right now is that if we go with Jalen Pickett, it's not the end of the world, but we have enough free space and we have the money on our books right now where we could bring in someone for a smaller contract. And the question is, who's still available on the point guard free agent market? Well, as of right now, there are 3 guys who I think would be a pretty good choice. And we'll go through each one, and I'll tell you sort of the pros and cons. First, and this would be the biggest reach and probably the most issue with a contract, Josh Giddey from the Bulls. Josh Giddey, obviously, he was a Thunder player for a little while, got traded around a little bit, but this is a dude with some serious passing skills. In terms of a backup point guard, you can't ask for much more. He's got a whole lot of energy. He's still really, really young. He's not the scorer that I think a lot of people were really hoping him to become. However, I do think this one might be a little out of our range just in terms of contract negotiation. I think Josh is probably looking for around $15 million, something around those numbers. And we need to be shooting for 10 or under, just with what we're dealing with on a salary cap right now. So this might be outside of it, but who knows? Maybe Josh wants to get a ring. Maybe he wants to play with Jokić. Maybe he wants to, go to the Mile High City. Who knows? Fingers crossed. That would be great. Moving on from there, Malcolm Brogdon with the Wizards. Malcolm Brogdon, just a really, really solid dude on the floor. He's not giving you star minutes, but he is a really good traffic kind of guy, a traffic coordinator, a court general. He seems to really have a great basketball IQ, find angles. I love his play pattern. His assists and his passing are really, really strong. And I think that's essentially what we need. We've got a lot of solid vets on our bench now in Tim Hardaway, Bruce Brown, Valanciunas as the center, and I think Brogdon would fit right in there. He's been with a few teams. He has a lot of experience in different kinds of offenses, so I think this could be a good pick, and I think his salary would be right in the window of what we would be able to spend as well. And then finally, and this one's going to freak everybody out, and I'm sorry to bring him up, there he is, Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons. That's right. The tragedy from down under, Ben Simmons. So right now he is with the Brooklyn Nets, and I think a lot of casual basketball fans only remember Ben Simmons as the great what if, this guy who just sat out for a season, had some mental health problems going on outside that seemed to, infect the energy of the team. This is a guy who I think we all remember that play where he had a wide open dunk and he passed it away and everyone was just suddenly like, Ben Simmons is trash. Ben Simmons is done. He's cooked. He's burned. He's fried. However, the stats say something different, especially as a backup point guard. Look, I don't think Ben Simmons is worth probably what he is going to be getting next year, but I think we could offer him a fair contract, get him on the team, and he would have a huge opportunity to change the narrative around him a little bit as of right now. I think he's really found himself again playing with the Nets. Now, obviously, they're not making the playoffs or anything like that, so the pressure's pretty low, but you do have to remember that, this guy's assist to turnover rate is pretty damn solid, and he is a bigger point guard, which could help a little bit more on defense. We always want more defense. We weren't a very highly ranked defense last year, and I'd love to see that change. It did look like it was changing in the playoffs, but obviously not fast enough. But let's just do a quick run through of these guys' stat lines just to see sort of what we're talking about from one to the next. Now, this is Russell Westbrook, who we are giving up and who had a huge rebound season this past season, playing with Jokić. 13, 5, and 6. That is pretty darn special, but we all know watching Russ play, he's a hot and cold player. He's going to win you games. He's going to lose you games. So we're giving up some of that unpredictability, but what can we get in return? Well, the idea would be Josh Giddey would be solid. Those rebounds and assists are a lot higher than Westbrook's rebounds, especially, and assists, to be honest. It just looks really, really solid. And a turnover rate of 3 per game isn't great, but it's definitely pretty solid considering his age and experience. He's young, so that number is only going to get better as he feels more comfortable on the court. Coming up next, obviously, with Malcolm Brogdon, this is a guy who doesn't have the same minutes on Washington as these last two players, but you really like to see his consistent scoring. Obviously, a lot less on the rebounding. That really hasn't been his job. But again, his assist to turnover ratio is really solid. We like to see it. I think he could be a solid asset off of the bench. And then finally, the man who shall not be named. Yes, his points are low. But again, it's important to consider that his assists and rebounds would be huge for our bench. Our bench would be big. Our bench would be big guys for the first time in a long time. And I think we would be cleaning up the glass against a lot of other players. And that is something that Ben Simmons is good at. And I do think there are other guys on our bench who could handle the scoring that we would lose if Ben was on the court. Again, I'm sorry even to show him to you. I know it doesn't feel good, but that's just the truth. That's the way it is. And if I'm being honest, like, Jokić needs help this season. We need to go for depth. And Ben Simmons, if he is not your number 1, not your number 2, not your number 3, not your number 4, not your number 5, if he's like the 8th guy on your team, I think he's really going to impress you. Okay. Now that I have said that, I'm sorry. But again, that was just my opinion. You know, what do you guys think? Let me know. Do you agree with my very good takes, or do you think I should have to keep talking about Ben Simmons even though it stresses me out so deeply? Either way, join the community down below. Hit that like button. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking right now. My name is Stuart Hicar. This has been another perfect video, a 10 out of 10. And as always, until next time, go Nugs.